Good day everyone, my name is Baishaleha Husna Pinto from Group 1 and our topic is all about Psychoanalysis by Sigmund Freud. Since I'm the last reporter of our group, my assigned topics are application of psychoanalytic theory, and under this we're gonna tackle about Freud's early therapeutic technique, Freud's later therapeutic technique, dream analysis, and Freudian slips. Second is related research, unconscious mental processing, pleasure and the id, inhibition and the ego, repression, inhibition, and defense mechanism. And the last one is critics of Freud. Under this, there are two questions that we're gonna answer. Did Freud understand women? And also, was Freud a scientist? Applications of psychoanalytic theory. So, si Sigmund Freud, siya yung nag-develop ng psychoanalytic theory. Hindi lang siya basta-basta psychologist na naggagamot ng may sakit sa pag-iisip. So, mas nag-focus siya sa paggawa ng theory para mas maintindihan ang human personality ng isang tao. So, he used therapy hindi lang para makahelp sa mga pasyente but to have deeper understanding pa sa kung paano gumagana yung isip ng isang tao. Early therapeutic techniques, Freud uses hypnosis and pressure techniques to uncover repressed childhood memories or seduction theory ang tawag dito. Ito na yung first way niya ng pagpapagaling ng mga patients using psychoanalysis. So this is what he did. Freud would place his hand on the patient's forehead or hold their head. He believed that the pressure would force them to think of hidden, repressed memories. He instructed the patient that when he relaxed his grip, they would see or think of something important, typically a memory he was looking for. Sinabihan din ni Freud yung patient na during dream interpretation and hypnosis, yung patient is mag-e-expect ng may mga scenes na childhood sexual experiences. Freud later admitted na yung pressure technique na ginawa niya is majority ng mga patient is gawa-gawa na lang yung mga childhood memories nila which is sexually seduced by some adult na baka hindi rin totoo. Siguro na-imagine lang nila yun since si Freud nga sinabi niya na mag-expect daw na may mga childhood sexual scenes or experiences. So, baka doon na manipulate lang yung patients. Yun na din yung lumabas sa mga memories nila. So, yung mga realization na yun made him to conclude na yung neurotic symptoms stem or yung mga na-imagine ng mga patient niya from the fantasies or the dream are not real events, and that's why it led him to abandon yung seduction theory or yung pressure technique na ginawa niya. So, eventually, it helped him to discover the Oedipus complex. Next is later therapeutic techniques. So, the primary goal of Freud's later psychoanalytic therapy was to uncover and repress memories through the free association and dream analysis. With free association, patients are required to verbalize every thought and comes to their mind, no matter how irrelevant or repugnant it may appear. Kung doon sa early therapeutic technique is hinahayaan lang yung patient na bumalik yung mga memories nila, dito naman sa later therapeutic technique, ganun din but kailangan yung mga patient is sabihin nila yung mga pumapasok sa utak nila or mga thoughts, even small details. Ang main purpose ng free association is para maabot nila yung unconscious mind, and by that, kailangan nilang mag-start sa conscious na idea and then following it through the association to wherever it leads. Under this, meron tayong tinatawag na transference, refers to the strong sexual or aggressive feelings, positive or negative, that patients develop toward their analysis during the course of treatment. Ibig sabihin, parang nai-imagine nung patient na yung tao doon sa memories is yung therapist. Kumbaga, kung ano yung nararamdaman ng patient from the past experience, ganun din yung nafe-feel niya sa therapist during the treatment. Okay lang din na ma-feel nila yon as long as yung feelings na lumalabas sa kanila is all about interest or love. Hindi rin nakaka-apekto doon sa therapy or sa process ng therapy. May dalawa tayong uri ng transference. Una yung positive, permits patients to more or less relieve childhood experiences within the non-threatening climate of the analytic treatment. Dahil dito sa positive transference, nabibigyan ng chance ulit yung mga patients na maranasan nila yung childhood experience nila in a way na safe at non-threatening na setting ng therapy. However, pag negative naman yung nababalikan ng patient na childhood experiences, dapat mapansin ito ng therapist para ma-explain niya dun sa patients and para matulungan ma-overcome yung any resistance sa treatment. So when we say resistance, ito na yung pumipigil doon sa progress ng therapy. Freud noted several limitations of psychoanalytic treatment. First, not all memories can or should be brought into consciousness. Second, treatment is not as effective with psychosis or constitutional illness as it with phobias, hysterias, and obsessions. By third limitation, by no means peculiar or psychoanalysis is that a patient, once cured, may later develop another psychic problem. By recognizing this limitation, Freud believed na pwedeng gamitin yung psychoanalysis kasama ng ibang therapy, so pwede siya pagsabayin. But he always says na bawal daw baguhin yung process or parang i-shortcut yung process. So kapag naging successful na yung treatment, mawawala na yung matinding symptoms and magagamit rin ng patients yung mental energy nila to strengthen themselves and accept those old hidden experiences. Though hindi sila magiging ibang tao like to the point na mag-iiba na yung buong pagkatao nila, but magiging better version lang ng kanilang sarili. Now let's move on to the dream analysis. Freud used dream analysis to transform the manifest content of dreams to the more important latent content. So dito sa dream analysis is magdidig in lang tayo para mas maintindihan natin yung mga deeper meaning sa dreams natin. We have two types of dream. First is manifest content, which is a dream is what literally happens in it. So example nito is hinahabol ka ng aso. So sa manifest content, mapapaniginipan mo na literal na hinahabol ka lang ng aso. While sa latent content is what the dream symbolizes. So example nito, 'di ba hinahabol ng aso panaginip. So this might symbolize that you are avoiding problem or fear in your life. So parang deeper meaning lang ng dream mo. And also Freud believed na yung mga most of our dream is parang way lang siya para matupad yung mga hidden wishes. Sometimes merong mga wishes na obvious, like kapag natulog kang gutom, then mapapanaginipan mo is kumakain ka ng maraming mga pagkain at mga masasarap na pagkain. So yun yung manifest content, parang na-manifest mo siya in a way sa dream. However, meron din tayong mga wishes in our dreams are hidden deeper. So hidden wishes siya na maliliwanagan ka lang or magigets mo pag inanalyze mo pa ng mas deeper. But meron din one exception to, those people na nakaka-experience ng trauma. But meron din one exception to those people na nakaka-experience ng trauma. So hindi nila mararanasan yung manifest content and latent content kasi it's because of repetition compulsion. Their dreams don't show hidden wishes but instead repeat the traumatic events over and over, and it's common in people with post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. So yung may mga PTSD is hindi nila ma-experience na managinip ng latent and manifest content kasi ang mapapanaginipan nila is yung trauma na nangyari sa kanila. So paulit-ulit lang yun nila mapapanaginipan. Sa dream analysis, meron tayong tinatawag na dream work. The exploration of dreams in psychotherapy or the process of transforming the latent content of a dream into its manifest content. For short, ito transform lang yung latent content into manifest content. But before these wishes appear in our dreams, the unconscious material is transformed, which uses two methods. Ito na yung condensation and displacement. Condensation is when several ideas or feelings get mixed together into one symbol or image in a dream. So magmimix na yung mapapanaginipan mo. For example, imagine you had a stressful week and then nag-usap din kayo ng best friend mo ng mga memories nyo nung childhood. So, mapapanaginipan mo pagkagabi is nasa old elementary classroom kayo and then may teacher. So, yung teacher na yun is, ang mukha niya is yung mukha ng best friend mo. At the same time, yung classroom mo looks like your current college classroom. So, parang medyo weird siya kasi mapapanaginipan mo siya all at once. Like yung old classroom mo represent your past and then yung face ng best friend mo and yung teacher nag-combine sa iisang tao lang. And then yung classroom blending the past and the present and then nag-merge siya. So, para siyang nostalgia na medyo weird. Next method naman is yung displacement. It means that the dream image is replaced by some other idea only remotely related to it. For example, suppose you are really angry at your mother and then, instead na mapapanaginipan mo yung nanay mo na galit ka or nag-away kayo, ang makikita mo doon is stranger or unrelated person who makes you feel angry. Basically, para mas maintindihan pa yung panaginip, Freud often asked patients about every thought they had about it kahit walang connection. It's because Freud believed by looking at the simple story of a dream, which is yung manifest content, pwedeng ma-uncover yung mga hidden or true meaning sa likod nito. Next is Freudian slips, also known as parapraxis, a verbal or physical mistake that reveal unconscious thoughts, desires, or feelings. So, Freudian slips are those little mistakes na nagagawa natin like misspeaking, misreading, or forgetting names. So, para sa atin, we think it's normal, but for Freud, he believed that it's not just a random errors. Instead, he thought they low-key reveal our hidden unconscious thoughts or desires. According to Freud, when we accidentally say or do something that slips out, it's because our repressed feelings or wishes are trying to come forward. For example, when a boy accidentally calls his current girlfriend by his ex's name, so siguro yung boy hindi pa nakaka-move on doon sa ex niya or baka mahal pa niya or inaalala pa niya yung mga happy memories nila. So that's why natawag niya yung girlfriend niya ng name ng ex niya. Another example, you mean to say pass the salt but instead you say pass the sugar when you're sitting next to someone you secretly like. So since katabi niya yung crush niya, and maraming pumapasok sa utak niya. So, nataranta siya. Ang nasabi niya, pass the salt instead of pass the sugar. So, it exposes our thoughts or feelings we'd rather keep hidden. So, let's move on to the related research. For many years, Freud theories were criticized as unscientific because they weren't testable. However, recent research in neuroscience and cognitive psychology using tools like fMRI and studies on unconscious processes has found evidence that supports many his ideas about unconscious mind. This has led to a new field called neuropsychoanalysis, where experts like Eric Kandel and Antonio Damasio argue that Freud's insights can help and explain the unconscious mind. First is yung unconscious mental processing. So, may dalawang uri ng conscious. Yung core conscious is yung basic state kung saan hindi tayo aware or hindi tayo gising, controlled mainly by the brainstem. Yung extended conscious naman is yun yung state kung saan aware tayo at kaya natin mag-reflect sa sarili natin and konektado siya sa prefrontal cortex. So, ang related research dito is ayon kina Solms and Turnbull, ang brainstem is responsible sa core conscious natin. At kapag may mga damage dito, halimbawa coma, so nawawala yung basic awareness. So, this one supports the unconscious mental processing ni Freud. So, isa pa na nagsusupport na research dito is yung studies ni Barg at Chartrand. So, automatic na thought at memory is yung nagpapakita ng malaking part ng behavior is nangyayari nang hindi natin alam. So, malapit ito sa idea ni Freud tungkol sa unconscious. Next naman yung pleasure and the id, inhibition and the ego ni Freud. So, yung ating pleasure-seeking drives na tinatawag ni Freud na id is nagmumula siya sa brainstem at limbic system, wherein yung dopamine is may malaking papel, and ang ego naman is yung bahala mag-control sa mga inhibit and mga impulses na ito. So, kapag naapektuhan yung brain regions na nagpapahinto ng impulses natin tulad ng frontal limbic system, is nagiging mas katulad ng nangyari kay Phineas Gage na naging impulsive at socially inappropriate pagkatapos ng brain injury niya. So, ang related research dito is yung studies ni na Chow and Cummings, Pincus at Rainey, na may connection daw yung frontal limbic system sa impulse control. Next one is yung kaso ni Phineas Gage, which is classic example kung paano daw na-damage yung frontal lobes is nagdudulot ng personality change, and sumusupport ito sa idea ni Freud na kapag hindi daw nakokontrol yung ego and id, nagiging impulsive tayo. Next one is yung repression, inhibition, and defense mechanisms. So, diba dito sa study na to, sinabi ni Freud na yung unconscious mind is actively nagre-repress or nagpipigil ng mga idea, feelings, or impulses na nakakatakot or unacceptable. So, ito yung tinatawag nating defense mechanisms. Related research dito yung studies ni Solms noong 2004 na may kaso na nagpapakita na kapag naapektuhan daw yung particular na bahagi ng utak, lalo na yung sa right hemisphere, nawawala or nababawasan daw yung repression, kaya lumalabas yung dati na nakatagong information. Next naman is yung study ni na Chevrin, Ganam, at Libet noong 2002. Sa study na to is nakakita ng mga taong may repressive personality style is mas matagal makapag-perceive ng stimulus na nagpapakita kung paano gumagana yung repression sa pag-block ng certain thoughts from entering consciousness. Lastly is yung research on dreams. Sinabi ni Freud na yung mga panaginip is nag-e-express ng unconscious wishes natin. Kahit noong 1950s, may mga nagsasabing random lang daw yung brain activity during REM sleep or yung activation synthesis theory. But may mga bagong research na nagpapakita na hindi lang daw random ang dreams at may inherent na kahulugan. Isa rito na studies na nagsusupport is yung study ni Solms at iba pang researchers. So, ang pagdidream daw is hindi lamang sa REM sleeps. May dreams rin na nangyayari sa non-REM sleeps. May mga kaso na kahit may damage sa brainstem nila, na kontrolado yung REM, nagaganap pa rin yung pagpapanaginip nila. Next, yung study ni na Wegner at iba pa, noong 2004. Nagpapakita na kapag sinubukan ng isang tao na pigilin ang pag-isip tungkol sa isang specific na tao bago matulog, mas madalas itong lumabas sa panaginip, supporting the ideas that suppressed thoughts rebound into dreams. Last related research dito is yung study ni Bowag noong 2006. Sinasabi dito na may mga parts na utak natin tulad ng basal ganglia at amygdala na pwede daw kumilos bilang dream sensor na nagko-convert ng hidden or yung latent content, meaning ng panaginip papunta sa mas acceptable na anyo or yung manifest content. So we are now in critics of Freud. In criticizing Freud, we must first ask two questions. Number 1 is, did Freud understand women? And number 2 is, was Freud a scientist? So dito muna tayo sa number 1. A frequent criticism of Freud is that he did not understand women and that his theory of personality was strongly oriented toward men. There is a large measure of truth to his criticism, and Freud acknowledged that he lacked of complete understanding of the female psyche. So marami talagang tao na nagsasabi na hindi talaga naiintindihan ni Freud yung mga kababaihan kasi male-centric siya sa mga theory niya. May mga halong katotohanan nito kasi inamin talaga ni Freud na hindi niya masyadong maintindihan yung female psyche. Noong 19th century kasi, Freud was a product of his time, kung saan dominant yung mga lalaki sa society nila and yung mga babae is tinuturing lang nila na second-class citizens. So because of this, konti lang yung chance para sa mga babae na makapasok sa mga professions or maging bahagi ng mga intellectual group. Kaya puro mga lalaki yung nasa psychoanalysis field. And also, si Freud kasi lumaki siya sa traditional na Viennese family wherein ang paboritong anak is siya. And minsan pinapakita niya ang dominance sa kanyang mga kapatid na babae. So, paborito talaga siya ng nanay niya since may isang senaryo na nangyari sa bahay nila. So, si Freud nun is nagbabasa ng libro and parang nagsastudy siya. And then, yung kapatid niya na babae is nahook doon sa piano na piniplay. And then, parang nagustuhan niya yung piano, so tinry niya. And then, si Freud is parang nairita siya kasi nga nagbabasa siya and then nagsumbong siya sa nanay niya. So, ang ginawa ng nanay niya is pinatapon niya yung piano, so tinanggal niya doon sa bahay para wala nang makaplay ng piano. So, parang na-realize ni Freud doon na favorable yung nanay niya sa kanya. Like, parang mas paborito yung anak na lalaki kaysa sa babae. Dahil dito, madalas na niyang makita yung mga babae bilang tender sex lang. Like parang sa bahay lang sila yung taglinis, tig-alaga ng mga bata. And for him, hindi niya magiging ka-level when it comes sa intellectual matters. Even nagkaasawa siya, yung asawa niya was no exception. And also tinatawag niya yung asawa niya na my little woman na parang binababa niya masyado yung mga kababaihan. Next question is, was Freud a scientist? A second area of criticism of Freud centers around his status as a scientist, although he repeatedly insisted that he was primarily a scientist and that psychoanalysis was a science. Freud's definition of science needs some explanation. When he called psychoanalysis a science, he was attempting to separate it from a philosophy or ideology. He was not claiming that it was a natural science. So in short, sinabi ni Freud na science daw ang psychoanalysis pero hindi siya gaya ng biology and chemistry. And para sa kanya, mas bagay daw i-acknowledge ito as human science. And also may mga scholars din na nagsasabi na masyado daw pinalabas ni Freud na scientific yung mga gawa niya dahil sa ibang translations ng mga terms niya na mas naging technical kaysa sa original and simple philosophical words. Maraming critics din ang nagdududa kung scientific nga ba yung mga studies ni Freud. Yung theories niya kasi nakabase lang sa sarili niyang observations and also sa mga experiences ng mga pasyente niya. And sometimes galing sa middle and upper class. And aside from that, mahirap daw patunayan kung tama or mali yung mga ideas niya kasi halos lahat ng bagay is may explanation siya kaya hindi madaling itest. But may value pa rin naman yung theories ni Freud kasi naka-inspire ito ng research and nagbibigay ng mga explanation kung bakit ganun umasta yung mga tao. Pero medyo tagilid lang sa part na yung mga definition and terms niya. Hindi kasi malinaw yung mga definition and terms. Sobrang flexible kaya mahirap itest and bihira lang ito gamitin sa modern psychology ngayon. That's all for our report and hope you learned something.